Dojutsu are just so cool. To be honest, they're kinda creepy in a way, especially considering that full eye transplantation exists in this world. Ninja will specifically hunt you down just to rip out your eyeballs and then use them on you. That's kinda horror-y if you ask me. But beyond the dark side of Dojutsu, it is super awesome when you consider some of the things that they can do. Enter Naruto Uzumaki. In the previous episode, we discovered that he had access to every currently known dojutsu and is slowly becoming able to make use of them all. But the question still remains, how did Naruto get these eyes, and for what purpose does he have them? I guess that's what we're here to learn, so sit back, keep your dojutsu glued to the screen, and we'll try to answer some of these questions. Welcome to the Amagi. Before we begin, only 25% of our viewers are subscribed, so if you're a fan of the video, please like and double check if you are subscribed, and with that out of the way, let's get into the video. The office of the Hokage was finally empty, save for Hiruzen himself. He was sitting in his chair, looking out over the village, finally pleased to be at peace. So many people had been visiting him that he thought the day might never end. Today was quite busy, and he was about to get his well-earned rest. That was until his secretary rang him and told him that he actually had one more appointment. Damn it, Hiruzen muttered as he realized that his workday was not yet over. Send them in, he said as he turned around to the desk. He summoned every bit of strength he had just to sit forward toward the table. He put on his best smile so he could seem strong. That was until Hiyashi Hyuga walked in. Oh, it's just you, Hiruzen said as he sat back with a sigh. I don't have to impress you. What do you want? Hiyashi spoke. I was going to ask about. Are you okay? Hiruzen was melting out of his chair. How important is this? He asked. What do you mean? Hiyashi asked. Is this life or death? Secret? Or is this something we can talk about over a meal at a restaurant or something? I'm ready to clock out. Hiyashi took a deep breath and let out a sigh that turned into a chuckle. You really turn into a different man when you're tired. I'm just so done with the world, Hiyashi. The old man stood and dropped his hat off on the desk before grabbing his jacket. The two men began to make their way out into the nearest restaurant. Hiruzen didn't care what it was, he just wanted to eat and go home. As they sat there getting some barbecued meat, Hiyashi spoke. I wanted to ask about Naruto. What about him? Hiruzen asked. I wanted to know what's going on with his eyes, Hiyashi said. Hiruzen thought about it. What about his eyes? Do you know why they do what they do? Hiyashi asked. Hiruzen thought about it. We really can't be certain, he said. There are theories floating around, but in the end, the jury's still out. Some people believe that he might have been experimented on when he was young. I don't know about that, but it is a theory. You know that Naruto can see everything back to the moment of his birth, right? Hiyashi said. Hiruzen stopped eating for a moment. He then continued. Aren't you concerned about what he'll see? You mean the Nine Tails? Hiruzen asked. Hiyashi nodded. He doesn't know he's the Nine Tails Jinchuriki, does he? Hiruzen looked up. He shouldn't. Hiyashi sat there for a moment before speaking. He will learn. Aren't you afraid that the Nine Tails will get out? Hiruzen shook his head. Why not? Hiyashi asked. Hiruzen took a deep breath and let it out in a sigh. He looked left and right to see if anybody were nearby to hear. Because he doesn't possess the Nine Tails. Hiyashi was shocked. What? He doesn't, Hiruzen said. Minato sealed the full Nine Tails into himself when he used the Reaper Death Seal. Then why did you tell everyone that he had it in him and not to tell anyone else? Hiyashi asked. For the same reason I'm going to tell you to keep a lid on this too. Listen, we lost the Nine Tails that night. That was our greatest deterrent, and we're still not sure how to get it back. No more Uzumaki yet lived to tell us how to undo the Reaper Death Seal. We had to lie and say that it was inside of Naruto to keep the other nations from suspecting. Hiyashi thought about it. Then why did you tell us not to tell? Because I knew, Hiruzen said, that the number one thing that happens when you tell someone to keep a secret is that it spreads. And I was right. Spies in-house have leaked that information. And because of that, we've had peace for these past 12 years. If the other nations ever learned of the truth, we'd be flooded immediately by our worst enemies. Until we can figure out what to do, we're keeping it quiet. So then why are you keeping Naruto under such strict supervision? Hiyashi asked. Are you afraid someone will attack him for his eyes? That's only half the reason, Hiruzen said. The other half is that when we finally do get the Nine Tails released from the seal it was put under, it will regenerate. And when it regenerates, we'll need someone who can use various dojutsu to defeat it and seal it away. Hiruzen was still processing everything. Why are you telling me this now, Hiruzen? Why are you revealing this big secret to me? Can't you guess? Hiruzen asked. I'm telling you because you're the head of the only clan that specializes in dojutsu. This job was originally going to pass to Fugaku Uchiha, but when the uprising occurred and then the Uchiha massacre, that kind of got flushed. Honestly, I was planning to reveal this to you when Naruto finally graduated from the academy, but it seems that Naruto's taking interest in his dojutsu by himself. So I need you to help guide him along. Some forewarning would have been nice, Hiashi said. Hiruzen smiled. In this business, there's a rule. Only share what is necessary. Once information is out in the world, anyone can get a hold of it by any means. The less people who have the full picture, the less likely the information will leak. You are one of only 5 people who know this secret, Hiashi. I expect you to guard it with your life. Hiashi nodded. Of course. Hiruzen stood. All right, I'm out of here. Will you please cover for me? Thanks. Hiruzen was gone before Hiashi could say anything else. I'm glad I decided against leaving my wallet at home. The day after, Naruto was up bright and early and went to the Hyuga compound where he was planned to meet with his friends turned masters, Sasuke and Neji. They stood outside the compound waiting for him. Good morning, masters, he said with a slight bow. They didn't return it. Come on, let's get started, they said. As he stood there, they both spoke. Neji and I have been debating, Sasuke said as Naruto sat down in front of them. I think you should train with me first, but Neji is certain that you should train with him first. Since we can't reach a consensus, we decided to ask you. What do you want? Naruto looked at both Neji and Sasuke. Well, Naruto thought about it. You kind of put me on the spot here, Naruto said. Both of them seem very important to learn. Naruto then remembered. Wait, Neji, didn't you say I'd be learning both dojutsu at the same time? Neji rolled his eyes. I meant you'd be learning both dojutsu in relative time. You can't learn how to use Byakugan and Sharingan at the exact same time. And even if it were possible, I doubt you have the brain power to handle such a task. Hey, that's mean, Neji. Just for that, I'm starting with Sasuke's training. Then maybe you should start with training somewhere away from our compound, Neji said. Now hold on, Neji, came another voice. It was Hiashi. Neji offered a bow. Lord Hiashi, he said. Hiashi put his hand on Neji's shoulder to set him at ease. Naruto is free to stay here for as long as he needs. We're going to be working on teaching him about all of his dojutsu together. I may not know much about all the other dojutsu, but I do understand how they work. That, mixed with Sasuke's help, leads me to believe that we can help Naruto to understand his own. Hiashi led them inside the house where he prepared tea for the group. As they all drank, Hiashi spoke with Naruto. Tell me, what do you know about dojutsu? Just that I have them, Naruto said. That and how to cycle through them at will, which is something I only learned a few days ago. Can you utilize their powers at will, Hiashi asked. Only some of them. Hiashi nodded. It shouldn't be hard to use them. I've come to realize something about dojutsu in my time studying them. Most of them are instinctual. Instinctual? Naruto asked. Hiashi nodded. In most cases, you don't really need to be taught how to use these dojutsu. Many who awaken the Mangekyou Sharingan are already aware of techniques they possess and how to use them to a certain degree, and the same is true for most other dojutsu. The issue isn't in knowing how to use them, it's in how to use them adequately. That being said, it takes a long time to master anything, and I'm sure any teacher of the martial arts will tell you that. The Byakugan is not just used to see long distances, but also comes with the ability to see chakra points. When used in conjunction with certain types of taijutsu, it gives rise to the gentle fist, the pride and joy of our clan. The Uchiha tend to use their own dojutsu mostly for illusion and whatever other techniques their Mangekyou abilities awaken. The Mangekyou offers different abilities based on what it awakens. Generally, the only things Mangekyou Sharingan share in common is the manner with which they're awakened, the amount of abilities they're allowed to have, and the Susanoo. That being said, because the only people here capable of teaching you mastery of your dojutsu are the Hyuga and the Uchiha, I think it best for you to focus on learning what we have to teach you about our dojutsu. Particularly, I think you should begin with the Sharingan, as out of the two, it should be easier to utilize. Sasuke raised a finger. I wouldn't say it's easier. Hiashi looked at him. Well, not exactly. But what I mean is that our gentle fist is a martial arts discipline that requires control over not only dojutsu, but your mind. He'll need to learn that eventually, but it'll be best to focus on the Sharingan for now anyway, as it is a little simpler and easier to grasp than the many thousands of styles of Tenketsu strikes you can learn. Sasuke had a hard time arguing against that. That didn't mean he still didn't feel slighted. It was as if Hiashi were making it sound like his Byakugan was better than the Sharingan of the Uchiha. In truth, that's not what Hiashi was doing at all. The Byakugan was not able to do certain things that the Sharingan could, and it was the Sharingan that he would need the most, especially for whenever they would try to get the Nine Tails free. Once they had all drank their tea, they would go outside to begin training. Tell me, Naruto, what can you do with your Sharingan? Can you awaken a Mangekyou? You seem to have higher forms of Byakugan. Do you have higher forms of Sharingan? Naruto nodded. He activated his Mangekyou abilities. What do you know about these abilities? Can you activate them at will? Naruto tried. Hiashi just barely dodged out of the way as black flames ate up the tree that was sitting behind him. Stop the fire, Naruto! Naruto put out the flames with another glare. Hiashi rose back to his feet with Neji's help. Hiashi wanted to lash out at Naruto but managed to hold it back. Naruto, here's some advice. Don't ever activate Dojutsu abilities you don't know when looking at someone. You could have killed someone. Naruto lowered his head. I'm sorry, sir, Naruto said. Hiyashi's expression softened. It's okay. You're here to learn and you just learned something important. Please, do not forget it. This was when Sasuke chimed in. He just used a Materasu. That's the same ability my brother has. That, mixed with the shape of the Dojutsu, tells me he has the same Mangekyo Sharingan type as my brother. Chances are he has Tsukiyomi as well. It's best we don't test the other eye for now. He could try to summon the Susanoo. Hiyashi nods. That's a good idea. How do I do that? Naruto asked. Sasuke scratched his head. I'm not entirely sure, actually. Hiyashi then spoke up. I had a few Uchiha friends in the past with the ability, and I asked them about it. They said to simply activate the third ability. They said to do it, they would funnel chakra to their nose of all places and just project their body around them, he said. For them, that would result in, at least, the start of a Susanoo, a partial transformation. Try that. Naruto nodded. He closed his eyes and began to try. Ouch, Naruto said as he covered his eye. What's wrong, Hiyashi said. I accidentally set my eyelid on fire. He said to put the chakra into your nose, Naruto, not your eyes, Sasuke said. Naruto nodded and tried again. Suddenly, emerging from Naruto was an orange skeletal creature. Wow, Sasuke said. It looks just like my brother's. Or at least that's what I've heard. What you've heard, Neji asked. Yeah, I've never seen it before. I've seen one of his abilities and heard about the other two. Which one did you see, Neji asks. Sasuke looks down. The same one I see every night when I go to sleep. Hiyashi quickly diverts the topic, realizing what Sasuke's talking about. It's a very nice Susanoo, but it looks like it could use some more work. That's when Hiyashi realizes something. Naruto. Naruto releases his Susanoo. Yeah? Hiyashi looks at him for a moment and then speaks. How do your eyes feel when you're using that technique? Fine. Why? No burning at all? Hiyashi asks. Naruto shakes his head. What do you mean, Lord Hiyashi? Sasuke asks. Hiyashi looks to Sasuke while pointing at Naruto. Have you noticed anything? Sasuke looks closely. His eyes aren't bleeding. Naruto's eyes widen. Bleeding eyes? Who was talking about bleeding eyes? Was that supposed to happen? Yeah, normally when people use their Mangekyo Sharingan enough, they actually start going blind, Sasuke replied. Naruto flips out. What? Goes blind? Why didn't anyone tell me about that? Well, I mean, you don't go blind immediately, Hiyashi said. Only if you overuse it. Are there any other dojutsu that blind me? Naruto shouts, obviously a little upset about not being told about the possible outcome of his use of this dojutsu. I don't think so. The Mangekyo is special. I honestly don't know why yours don't seem to go blind, Hiyashi said. Not even a little blood. There's only been one time that this has ever happened. When's that? Sasuke asked. When the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan awakens. That shouldn't be possible for you though, as you have no siblings. Hiyashi thinks about it. But enough of that. Let's continue your training. For the rest of the day, they continued to train Naruto in the use of his dojutsu. Teaching him how to activate them was easy enough, but more complicated things like the Byakugan and the Gentle Fist's connection would take some time to learn. Naruto and Sasuke would begin to head home as the sun was setting. As they walked though, Naruto spoke. Why didn't my eyes bleed or start going blind when I used the Mangekyo Sharingan, he asked. Sasuke thought about it. Hiyashi said it was possibly because of the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, but I don't know about that for certain. The eternal Mangekyo Sharingan is said to be a mixture of two different eyes. The only known usage of this technique was with Madara Uchiha, and when he unlocked his dojutsu gained a different look than he had previously. Your eyes look almost identical to my brother's, and he doesn't have an eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. I think the more likely answer has to do with the Rinnegan. The Sharingan said to be descended from it. That would mean that the Mangekyo is closer to the Rinnegan than the base Sharingan is. And if that's so, then the Rinnegan should go blind with use too, right? But it doesn't. Maybe if you awaken the Rinnegan, the Mangekyo Sharingan no longer suffers bleeding and vision loss? Sasuke posited in the form of a question. That's all I can think of. Returning to their homes, the two rested up for the next day. Naruto continued to train as they had done the day before, doing so more and more over the course of the next few months until Naruto had a bit of a grasp on the usage of his dojutsu. It was at around this time that Hiruzen called Hiyashi back into the office. When Hiyashi got there, Hiruzen dropped some news on him. We figured it out. Figured what out? Hiyashi asked. How to unseal the Nine Tails. We found the proper mask and the way to do it. Hiyashi was surprised. That's great news, but I don't think Naruto's ready. He's very young. Are you sure this is wise? That's why I brought you in here, Hiyashi. I would like to ask about Naruto's progress. He's progressing along very well. He has mastery over most of the techniques of not only the Sharingan, but the Mangekyo Sharingan as well. So Genjutsu shouldn't be an issue for him. Hiruzen nodded. Then stay here. I'm going to send for him. I think he'll appreciate it if you're here when I give him the news. Hiyashi would give a nod of approval, and so the two of them waited. Naruto would eventually be brought into the office. What's wrong? Am I in trouble? Hiruzen chuckled. No, Naruto, you're not. I just wanted to talk with you. About what? Naruto asked. Hiruzen continued. Hiyashi here has told me how well you're doing in your dojutsu training. Naruto smiled. Well, not to brag, but I am the best Mangekyo Sharingan user in the whole village. Hiyashi cracked a smile on that declaration, knowing Naruto was the only Mangekyo Sharingan user in the village, currently. Hiruzen then began to explain. I wanted to talk to you about something. What is it? Naruto asked. Hiruzen continued. Surely you've seen your own memories, correct? You've looked all the way back to your birth? Nope, never done that. Hiruzen shook his head. It's okay, Naruto. I'm not mad. I just need to know if you've done it so I don't have to explain what's coming up next. Naruto thought for a moment and then nodded. I looked. Then you remember the Nine-Tails attack? Naruto nodded. I do. Hiruzen began to explain. 12 years ago, on the day you were born, the Nine-Tails escaped from your mother, who was the Jinchuriki at that time. Your father battled against it, and in an effort to seal it away, sacrificed his own life. The Nine-Tails has been sealed up ever since, and we've not known how to get it back. But recently, we figured out how to break that seal. Naruto was starting to get skeptical. Okay? Hiruzen then spoke. We need that Nine-Tails to keep Konoha safe, Naruto. We're going to unseal the beast, and when we do, we need you there to use your Mangekyo Sharingan to cast it under Genjutsu. Then the sealing team will seal it into you. You'll take your mother's place as the next Jinchuriki of the Nine-Tails. Naruto's face was splashed with horror, terror dripping from every angle. I can't do that. Why not? Hiruzen asked. Naruto continued. I saw that thing in my memories. It was terrifying. You not only want me to be there when it appears, but you want me to seal it into my body? I won't do it. Naruto stood up and looked like he might run. Hiyashi slowly started to approach him. Naruto, just listen. Stay back, Naruto said as he activated his Mangekyo Sharingan. Hiyashi froze. Naruto? Naruto was terrified, looking like he might cry. Was this why you started training me, Hiyashi? Was it to do this? To make me do this? Hiyashi looked away from him. Naruto's eyes widened. It was, wasn't it? Hiyashi spoke. Naruto, you don't understand. Naruto shook his head. I do understand. You were using me. Naruto then ran off from the room. Hiruzen sighed and picked up the phone. I need to call in the Anbu. Please wait, Lord Hiruzen, Hiyashi said. Let me go get him. Hiruzen let out a sigh of frustration. Please do so quickly. I don't want this getting out. Naruto was hiding in the forests nearby the village. He was hiding up in the leaves, trying to remain concealed. As he thought about it, he recalled the things he had seen with his Senrigan. He saw how it stabbed through both of his parents. He felt their blood dripping onto him. He saw their faces. Worse still, he saw that thing's face too. Twisted in rage, its eyes echoing desire to kill him. The concept of not only facing that thing, but sealing it inside of his body too. It was too much. And that's when he heard something. Naruto, a voice called. Naruto looked down and saw Hiyashi. His Mangekyo Sharingan activated. Naruto, don't be scared. I'm alone. I'm not here to fight or anything. I just want to talk. Can we please talk about things? What's there to talk about? You got any more lies you want to tell me? Hiyashi stood there silently for a moment. Naruto, you know me. We spent a lot of time together these past few months. Can I at least come up into the tree and talk about it? Naruto placed his head back against the tree. Fine. Hiyashi climbed up and sat on an adjacent branch beside Naruto. How did you find me? Naruto asked. I followed the scent of ramen, Hiyashi said, expecting a laugh. But when nothing happened, he rephrased it. The Byakugan is good for tracking. You taught me all this stuff just to make me do this, didn't you? Hiyashi nodded. I taught you under request of the Hokage, who said national security was at stake. I didn't want to lie to you. I wanted to be honest, but besides you, there are only 5 people who know that the Nine-Tails isn't in our village. Why is it so important? Naruto asked. Why is it bad if it's not in our village? That thing's terrifying. Hiyashi nodded. It is terrifying, which is exactly why we need it. The Nine-Tails isn't the only monster in this world. A lot of other monsters are held by a lot of other villages. The only reason they don't attack us is because they're scared of our monster. But if they realize we don't have it anymore, they'll send their monsters to hurt us. Have you ever noticed how if a bully picks on you, if you stand up to them, the bully will leave you alone? Naruto nodded. Hiyashi continued. That's because the bully only respects strength. If your strength is greater than theirs, then they get scared of you and leave you alone. Nations are like that too. The stronger a military force, the more likely you are to scare off your enemies. Naruto thought about it. Okay, but why does it need to be me? He asked. Why do you need me to do these things? Hiyashi then spoke. It's because you're special, Naruto. Nobody has eyes like yours. Not to mention, you're an Uzumaki. Very few of those exist in this world anymore. They were said to be the perfect Jinchuriki. There's nobody else like you in this world. Are you gonna force me to do this? Naruto asked. Are you gonna make me be a Jinchuriki to the thing that made me an orphan? Hiyashi thought about it and then sighed. No, I won't. Naruto looked over for a moment. Huh? Hiyashi spoke. I'll be the Jinchuriki if I have to, but I need you to do something still. What? Naruto asked. I need you to help us put it under with your genjutsu. You have Mangekyo Sharingan. Nobody else in the village has that, and with your particular version you can put the thing under a powerful spell. We need you there or people could die. If you don't want to be the Jinchuriki, we won't force you to be, but we need you to face your fears for the sake of the lives of everyone else. Can you do that? Naruto thought about it and swallowed hard. He nodded. If I have to, I'll try. Hiyashi smiled. Thank you, Naruto. With the matter settled, Hiruzen accepted the terms. Honestly, he didn't care who the Jinchuriki was, he just needed one. And with Hiyashi volunteering, they decided not to fight him on it. They would all gather outside, though Naruto was kept further away than the others to ensure his safety when the seal broke. They would take a prison inmate who'd been sentenced to death, march them out onto the field where there were plenty to summon the Ninetales, and would have him wear a mask. Of course, this man was kept under genjutsu to make sure he did everything correct, as well as for some semblance of humanity. It would be better for the man not to know what he was doing, at least that way he wouldn't feel the pain. They had him weave the hand signs to summon the Shinigami. They would then have him cut open his own gut, which caused the Shinigami to do the same thing. As soon as the Shinigami cut open its own stomach, the chakra that had been within suddenly began to pour out. It began to form at first as a thundering tornado of flames that shot lightning from its core, along with crackles of thunder. There would be a roar from the midst of the tornado. Hiruzen, seeing it, would be on his comms. Get ready. When I give the order, get in there. Distract the beast and allow Naruto to get close. When Naruto's in position, have him cast Tsukiyomi. Once the beast is under genjutsu, get Hiyashi under the beast and begin the sealing ritual. Am I understood? The team leaders each systematically sounded off in approval. Just as the last one sounded off, the Ninetales finished manifesting. It let out a roar and then seemed to calm a bit as it took in the scenery and tried to understand what was happening to it. Go, now, Hiruzen commanded. Suddenly, by the beast's feet, explosions were heard. The beast fell forward as it looked around and noticed many shinobi. It swiped its claws at them, causing them to jump away to avoid. Naruto was terrified seeing this thing up close and personal. Having second thoughts, kid? Yamato said. He was the one in charge of Naruto's squad. Naruto nodded. Yamato put his hand on Naruto's shoulder. Don't be afraid. I won't let anything happen to you. Yamato then knelt down. Now, get on my back. Naruto did as commanded. Yamato ensured his team was ready. Remember, in, draw attention, genjutsu, out. The other Anbu acknowledged this statement. It was then that Hiruzen gave the order. They began to move closer. With every tree they jumped to, Naruto felt as if he might puke. He remembered what Hiyashi had taught him. He focused his breathing. He then tried to focus on the task and not his own aches. As they got closer to the beast, Naruto stopped on the nearest tree branch. The beast wasn't looking at them yet. Are you ready, Naruto? Yamato asked. Naruto swallowed his fear and his own vomit and nodded. Yamato commanded them to begin drawing attention. They threw kunai with paper bombs and attacked at its back. The bombs exploded. The beast let out a roar and then turned around to face them. The moment Naruto's eyes met with its, he cast Tsukiyomi, and it worked. The Ninetales stumbled back, let out a howl, and then fell forward. Naruto was pulled out as Hiyashi and the sealing team drew closer. Naruto saw Hiyashi for only a moment. Hiyashi saw Naruto and smiled and gave a thumbs up. A few moments later, the beast was sealed again, this time into Hiyashi. The mission successfully completed, they returned to the village to celebrate. Hiyashi would meet with Naruto. Naruto would run to Hiyashi and hug him. He began to cry. What's wrong, Naruto? Hiyashi asked. Naruto spoke. That should have been me. You don't deserve to be that thing's Jinchuriki. Hiyashi knelt down and hugged Naruto. And neither do you. You did a good job out there today. You faced your fears. I couldn't be more proud of you. Word traveled fast. Knowledge about what transpired reached the four corners of the world. It even reached a very certain masked man. That man, unlike the rest of the world, was not concerned about the Ninetales, but about the boy who had stopped it. A strange Uzumaki with the Mangekyo Sharingan. As the man looked over the scroll, he spoke. So, he survived. The masked man had been certain that the entirety of the Namikaze household had perished that day, but it seemed that the boy with the special eyes had survived. The man smiled. Good. And that's where I plan to call it for today. What did you think about the video? I was considering having Naruto just be the Jinchuriki for this one too, but then I thought about how wicked sick it would be if we made somebody else the Jinchuriki. I wonder what a Hyuga could do with that kind of power. I guess there's only one way to find out, am I right? I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to let us know. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and all that other good stuff. And while you're at it, check out these other great videos by our channel. Until next time, peace out.